chess. We could do chess.
Chess, you say?
Yeah.
No,
No, no. No. We could. No, no, no. Because Resident Evil 6 requires some intensity as well. So.
does it now?
I don't know. What do you think?
Uh,
Well, we have been playing on the lower difficulty with the skill points, which is incredibly helpful.
it's so much easier. It's so
We
much.
have not died.
It's
I don't know
so
if we've died yet.
stupidly easier. Dude, we were
Oh
playing the game
man.
like the way it was meant to be played, and it's not even like a level that you like start with. You have to unlock it.
You have to unlock it twice, dude. Twice. You understand? Like normally there's three, and then you unlock a fourth mode, and then there's a fifth one. And that's what they did in RE3 here too. So like there's three modes, and then there's another one that's called Nightmare, and that's what I'm playing right now. And if I beat Nightmare, I unlock something called Inferno. And apparently Inferno you can only save 3 times the whole game.
Jesus. So
Yeah, so
like
I'm not down. I'm not
you
down with
have
that.
to
I'm
like
not
play
down
it
with
so
that.
fast then, or so long,
Not fast. You just have to play it,
for like
very
hours and
carefully.
hours a day.
Yeah, and if you fuck up, then yeah, you're fucked.
Oh God.
Start the whole thing over. So yeah, I'm not down when games do that. Like Doom had something like that. They had like a super difficulty and then like a super super one. And you know me, I want to play in the super super, but they said if you die once, you restart the whole game.
What?
I'm like, no, that's stupid to me. I'm not gonna do that. Like I want to beat a game based on my intelligence and my merit alone, not like, oh, I made a mistake and I have to do the whole thing over again. No, that's just a waste of time because I already beat all that other stuff. You know what I mean? Like I already got to that point. Let's say I got to halfway in the game, then I died. I
Right.
don't want to do the halfway again because I've already proven that I can do it. You see what I mean?
Right. No, I mean,
There's nothing to
to
prove
me,
anymore. There's nothing to prove for me anymore.
that's like a mode reserved for like just straight up like no lifers that only play that game like a million times
Mhm.
over and
Mhm.
just want to like fuck
Mhm.
around
Mhm.
and try that. But like it doesn't
Sure,
matter.
and you should have that availability, but you shouldn't lock like everything else of the hardest difficulty behind that. You shouldn't lock anything else behind that, like ammo scarcity or stronger AI or more intelligent AI. Like, give me all of that. Give me the ammo scarcity. Give me the AI that's the most intelligent. You know, make it as difficult as you can, but do not make me restart the whole game if I get to a certain point.
Yeah,
No.
especially if you're on the last boss.
Yeah, you're on the last boss, you beat the whole game, and then you make a mistake. Well, you gotta do it all again? No. Now, I do see the thing, like you said, there is something to be said, bro. People do these games, they do the whole thing without getting hit. Like, they do the whole game without taking a single bit of damage. Like, that kind of shit is insane,
The no
right?
lifer shit,
Um,
exactly.
right, and that's amazing. Like, it's very impressive. Like, this one guy, man, he beat all the Dark Souls games in a row in one stream without getting hit.
Without getting hit.
Yes, dude, it's like a legendary thing. It has like millions of views online.
I
He
just
played all the Dark Souls games, dude. I think he also played Bloodborne in that stream. Like, so like 4 games, maybe even 5. I think he played Demon Souls too, because Demon Souls was the first
and then he
one. Demon
died on
Souls
like
was
the fifth
before.
game and killed himself, right?
No, no, no. He beat the whole thing. He did it. He did it. I mean, he. I think he tried multiple times and failed, probably. Yeah, but eventually he did it.
Well,
I
all
don't
I
think
can
he.
say
I don't think he
about
did it on
that
his first
is,
run.
yeah, I mean, dude, like I said, man, like there is a niche for everybody. There's a game. Like people love games, right? And then people really
Oh
love
yeah,
games, and then people
and they're
really,
gonna love him more and
really
more.
love games. And then there's that one guy who just Tom Brady's it, you know? Like he's not only like the
Mhm, mhm,
best and like the greatest, but he's like 2 levels in front of the guy behind him, type of thing.
mhm.
Like,
Well, here's what I'm thinking,
like
man.
man.
We agree that we're going to become multi-planetary species, right? And going out into outer space, traveling
Unless China stops
from region
us.
to region. Well, no. Like, the whole world is going to have to do that. So, if that's the case, I always think about the entertainment. Like, what are people going to do for fun? We're going to be just traveling in space for years upon years in a little cabin,
Hmm.
spaceship.
Hmm.
What are they going to want to do, man? And, I think entertainment is the most important thing.
They're
Like
gonna do
obviously
that
knowledge,
awesome.
they're gonna
They're gonna
learn
play that
too.
amazing game, which is on the VR, and it's just a strip club it's like on the VR.
They can do that. They can do
Like
everything,
you
right? Like
literally
Resident
get the
Evil, Halo.
VR strip
Like
club
I'm
experience.
I'm I'm thinking about it, man. We got to find a way to get all of humanity's data and information saved onto like a chip, onto an USB drive, so that everybody can experience everything that we've ever done, that we've experienced. So you can like learn anything you want to learn, any language, you can learn any skill, you can watch any movie, any football game ever made. Like you know what I mean? Like we got to come up with a little USB that we can just travel around with, so everybody can just access it anytime they want.
Amen to that, man.
You know what I mean? Like, be like, hey, let me learn about, the 1700s, and then boom, pulls up everything that humanity's ever known about 1700s.
I,
Oh man, it'd be so cool.
dude,
So
and then I
cool.
thought about this the other day. What if in the redesigning of the education system, what if we do it like this, man? For the first like 3 or 4 grades, it's like we just teach them arts like dancing and music and
Hmm.
sports, and that's all they do for the first
Right.
like 4 grades. And then in fifth
No
and
math, huh?
no, none, zero. And then in fifth and
Oh.
sixth grade, we basically give them like a current system where we kind of throw everything at them: English, math, history, all that shit, right?
Hmm.
And then in seventh grade, we tell them, all right, we've shown you all the stuff. Now it's time to pick your specialty. Like you can pick scientist, you can pick, construction, you can pick architect, you can pick, like teacher, like whatever you want to do at that point, and then you go into like a specialty group of classes where if you if you want to do scientist, you learn about math and science and like biology and chemistry. If you want to do construction, you do like math and like tools and like leadership. If you want to do like uh, history, you like start doing books and learning like going to like museums and shit. But like in seventh grade, like you basically like pick your specialty, and then you just start getting really good at that specialty from that point on.
Well, I like where you're going with it, but I definitely think math and some other subjects need to be taught at a young age. Very important. Maybe not in the way we teach it, but it's incredibly important. Just everything that we do. Math is so critical. Really is.
Yeah, and we teach it to them in fourth or fifth grade when they actually like might like it. Like they're not gonna fucking nobody
No,
likes math in the first 3 grades.
I
Nobody,
know, I know,
nobody.
I know, and that's because that's the way we teach it.
And
We
then
teach it
we
in a horrible
force them
way.
to
We,
learn it, and then we make them hate it for
I
life.
know, I know.
But
We
if
have
we
to do it
teach
in
them when they're
another
a little more
way.
mature, when they can handle it a little better, then like
You think they're gonna like it more?
yeah, they'll actually have an appreciation for it. And here's the other thing, the other big part of this is that instead of giving out grades, we give out rewards for doing well. Like instead of grading you for your exams, like you get like, days off of school or like, potentially even
Oh, so
money.
no, even less numbers here. This guy doesn't like numbers apparently.
But you hear what I'm saying?
Moving
Like
away
the
from numbers.
grading
I
system,
see.
it's
I
fucked, right?
disagree. Oh no, I don't think so at all. I think it's great.
Oh, you're insane. The whole dude, I thought that was the whole point of what you were trying to do. The grading system is the most fucked up thing about the whole thing. Think about this, man. Like when
No,
you
I think
give
it's the way
somebody
we get the
when you
information.
give somebody a bad grade, you're telling
And
them
the way you
that
test, I think, is bad too.
what the grading system does, man, is it makes people want to do well just so they can get good grades. All right?
Right,
They
right,
don't want to
right,
do well because they actually learn or care about it.
right,
Like my
right,
whole
right.
thing is trying to eliminate the whole like learning is bad. Like you should want to learn. Everybody should want to learn, right?
Yes, oh for
But when you
sure.
force people to learn things, and even worse, you grade them on those things, you make people hate learning completely. Like completely. Like when somebody tries, like you get kids who try to do too well in school, right? But then they get D's and
Hmm.
F's, and they just feel like miserable sacks of shit. And it's like, no, you're not a miserable sack
Right.
of shit. This is just not your specialty. This is not your thing. Like we get it, you know. And it's like you should never get graded for failing. Like if you fail something, that's a great thing. Like we should fail all the time.
Well, I think there's a beauty in it, man, because I'm of the belief. Like, I like getting graded and knowing what did I do wrong so that I can improve. Like, if you don't give me a number, if you don't grade me, how the fuck do I know where I went wrong, what I need to get
No,
better
I'm
at? So
saying
I
I'm
like it.
saying that yes, you
I'm
would
into it.
like get a number score for what you do, but you're
Hmm.
not gonna get like a letter grade, is what I'm saying. Like you're not gonna get, it's not
So
gonna be
you,
A to F. Like if you get a 90 on the test, for example, like maybe you can
hmm
like miss school for like a 1 day a week, or you can get like extra recess time or something. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, so you're talking about something to supplement the number score. Do you just don't like the letter grades? Because I'm
Exactly.
okay with that.
No, I don't. I
Yeah,
hate
that's
it. I think
fine.
it's a horrible thing
That's
because, like I
fine. I
said,
don't mind the letters or the numbers, but
because you
definitely the
teach
numbers.
kids, by
Gotta
doing
keep the
that,
numbers.
you teach kids by giving them grades that failing is bad, that you shouldn't fail. But the most important thing in life is to fail. And like I've said, one of my favorite quotes is the people who are at the top are the ones who failed more than anybody. Like starting a business, for example, you're gonna fail a bunch of times usually before you make a very successful business, right? So
Hmm.
how are you going to teach kids from an early age that they should be failing? Like there should not be a failure per se. There should be like, all right, you sucked at this clearly, so
Yeah, they shouldn't call it failing. They should just be like improvement. Just needs improvement.
exactly, exactly, and like to
Yeah,
reward
yeah,
people for their grades instead of like giving them like letters that mean nothing at all. You actually like give them tangible things. You know? And like the way it'll happen is instead of people like picking on each other for grades and caring about all that shit, people will be like, yeah, man, like I got like 3 gold stars last week, and my professor says I could get like a fourth one. If I like, if I can get to another great A plus on my exam or whatever, or I get like a 90 or above or
hmm
whatever, and
right.
that's gonna get them
Incentives.
excited.
You want to have
People will
incentives.
people will be
Yeah.
competing for like the most ribbons, or the most stars, and
Hmm.
there'll be like obviously tangible
Hmm.
rewards for those merits, right?
Right.
Like people who like get like top stars or whatever will be able to like miss school for like once a week, and they can like go to like a special thing where like they just fuck around and dance all day or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like
Yeah,
to me,
it's very important to have positive reinforcers, some kind of
exactly,
thing,
especially for kids, like especially for
some
kids,
kind of
like
carrot. There has to be a carrot on the stick for the kids to strive
it's
for,
the
for
idea for
anyone to
me
strive for.
is you want kids to want to learn. You want them to actually care about learning. So, but like I said, for the first few years, no kid gives a goddamn about fucking math and bullshit like that. They wanna sing, they wanna dance, they wanna, have, joy and celebrate shit, which is what humans did for hundreds of thousands of years. There was no fucking math and science and shit and for hundreds of thousands of years, right? Kids don't care about that. They never have. There's always that one kid out of
Some of
like a
them do.
thousand.
Some of them do.
Yeah,
Right, right.
but
But
that's
most just want to
exactly.
hang out and be happy and
And we can
have
give
fun
them
and
an
run around in the
option. Like
field.
we can make it like even if you really care about getting math to kids, we can even have like an option. Like okay, you get one question, pick one of these things, right? And you can switch anytime you want. You can just switch. If you don't like math anymore, just fine, do history. If you don't like history anymore, fine, do science. If you don't like that, do English or another language or whatever. And then for the first 4 years, this is what they do at some yoga places. Like for kids who take instead of school in other countries, they take them to these yoga places. All they do the first like 4 or 5 grades is they do art. Music. They learn music. They become incredible musicians off the bat. They become great dancers. They become great, painters. All the shit, like shit they actually give a shit about, that they want to do, that they're excited to do, that's like filling them up with life, filling them up with energy, makes them excited to live, instead of forcing them to do shit they don't care about, making them feel bad about themselves because they're not doing that well, and teaching them that failure is a bad thing. Like ingraining into them from an early age that failing is bad. If you fail, you suck. Your parents will hate you. Your teachers will hate you. You're pathetic, and then just making them depressed as hell. But like I said, in fifth, sixth, maybe seventh grade, we throw the fucking book at them. We get them, all the shit. We give them a little taste of everything, and then from that point on, they 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 select their specialty. Maybe it's cooking, maybe it's leadership of some kind. Maybe it's business. Maybe it's science. Maybe it's, environmentalism, whatever it is. You throw a specialty at them. And then from that point on, from an early age, they are becoming masters of that specialty right off the bat.
Yeah, I definitely think it's important to find out what people's interests are. You gotta know what they want to do.
And it's like they'll want to learn. It'll be a competition, man. Like people will be, instead of people caring about letter grades, people will be trying to get the most ribbons. Like if Jimmy's got 4 ribbons and he's at the top of the class, I want 4 ribbons. I want to be right there. Everybody glorifying me, right? And
That's right.
kids will compete with each other for ribbons. And, everybody's doing something they like, something they care about, and they're going to want to do well at it. Everybody's going to want to do well at the thing they give a shit about. Maybe it's even like video game creation, like whatever. Like, there'll be
Anything
so
they
many
want.
subjects. And, each class will have like 150 students, but it's okay because, everybody actually wants to be there. Nobody doesn't want to be there. They want to learn. Kids will be at that point, they will be thirsty to learn, right? Because when kids are super young, they really, really want to learn. Like they really do. They learn about everything.
Yeah.
But then we
Curious.
kill that. We kill that almost off the bat in first grade, kindergarten, by putting letter grades on their learning abilities. On things they don't give a fuck about. They don't give a fuck about these things, not even one. And now you're forcing them to sit in a classroom, learn something they don't want to learn. Like, all I'm saying is nobody should ever have to learn something they don't want to. But you obviously have to show them why they want to. Like, you need to show them, things about why math is good, why science is important, why history is important. Get them interested, but don't force them to do it. Don't force kids to have to learn anything because they shouldn't have to. They're not going to want to. They're only going to do, as best they can. Like the current system, right? Like, kids only learn as much as they need to pass. Like, everybody does that. Everybody. They do whatever it takes to pass the course. They don't give a shit about it once it's done. They forget all about it. That's not right.
Well,
That's a waste of fucking
you think
time.
that's everybody or most people?
Almost everybody.
But not everyone.
I'd say 95%.
Yeah. But there's a small percent like myself. I enjoy school. I love learning. I liked it. So I want to go back. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, scientifically minded folk, yeah, I get it. But for most people, man, they literally only want to learn as much as they need to so that they pass the course and get the fuck out.
The minimalist, right?
They get the fuck out.
Your teacher called it when you were in whatever grade that was.
Right.
Do the
and I looked at everybody around me, and everybody was the same way as me, right? So
you said
nobody
perfect.
can.
But she singled you out.
Even in high school, right?
Call you the minimalist.
Well, I don't know if she did that to how many people we know, but like, yeah, I mean, people like you look at almost all these people, except for the ones that are just, either A, scared of their parents, right? Or B, scared of their future because they've been ingrained that they have to get into a good college. So what, their fear of, the disappointing their parents, their fear of not getting accepted into college and therefore not getting a good job, that's what's supposed to drive them to learn? Are you fucking kidding me? That's pathetic.
Oh, that's right.
That's pathetic. That's not how it's supposed to be. People should, like I said, I keep saying it, people should want to learn because they want to learn. They're excited about life. They're excited to learn.
I agree.
But instead, we have all these pressures from parents and peers and everything. And that's why depression and anxiety and suicide is skyrocketing in kids these days, especially because of social media. And that pressure continues forever. They never get away from the pressure. It's constant.
No.
Constant pressure. Yeah, I can totally get why people just don't want to live anymore. Like, it's just like you have pressure at school, from parents and teachers and your friends. And then you go home, and then you got even more pressure from your friends and your parents. Like, man, that's terrible. What I'm saying is that we turn that up on its head. We make it so that kids want to learn. They want to be there. They're excited to learn because they know that it's going to help make the world a better place. And there's no pressure at all because even if you don't do well, it's like, what? Okay, well, you don't get the perks of doing well, but you still graduate when it's all said and done. But everybody's going to want to do well because everybody wants to have a good life. They're going to know that if they go through the subjects the correct way, they will have a good life. And we're not going to teach kids that failing is bad. We're going to teach kids that failing is the most important thing. We'll make the course as hard as fuck, and everybody's going to do
So
bad.
what if? Oh no. Oh fuck. What if we come across some students that don't want to do anything? They just don't give a shit. All they want to do is play Fortnite all day, every day.
There's not going to be any of those kids. But
Well, in the off chance
in the off
that
chance,
there is,
in the off
that
chance,
humans don't want to work, they just want to relax all the time. On the off chance that that's the majority of people, just wanting to eat, sleep, and play games.
first of all, that's not even going to be like 0.01% because it just can't be.
All right.
Okay,
On
like
the off chance that it is, for some reason, that comfort is, you know, too comfortable. Humans get too cozy. We got AI doing everything for us.
military
We got like
school.
1% of the militaries.
Yeah, now you gotta throw the book at them.
Oh. So then you make them feel bad about failing.
Well, then they'll fucking learn that there's failing. No, that failing's bad. They'll learn that there's no place in society for people who don't want to achieve.
Don't want to contribute.
Yeah, and you know it's like because like I said, like for the first 4 or 5 grades, they're just doing art. They're doing things they like to do. They're doing fun things. You know, they're going to be very intelligent people by the end of that because they will have been using their brains to be creative that entire time. And if they don't want it, if they're they're totally math inclined, they just love math from an early age, then there'll be a place for them too. But for 99% of the kids, you know, they're going to be doing arts and stuff and singing and dancing and shit and getting really good at dancing, getting really good at singing, getting really good at music. And then, like I said, we throw the book at them, we give them a whole bunch of shit they can learn, and then they select their specialty, right? And they can change their specialty whenever they want. They just have to start all over, you know? They'll be with, you know, 7th graders when they're in 9th grade or whatever, which is fine because, like I said, it's all going to be very difficult. Like, the shit will be hard. But failing will be encouraged because everybody will be failing all the time. And by failing, they'll learn that failing is good because we all fail, but we all get better every single time.
Mm-hmm. And then when best friends get ripped apart because, you know, one of them just starts doing much better than the other and goes up in the grades, you okay with that too?
Well, yeah, because we're not trying to make friends here. We're trying to advance our lives. We're trying to get better and stronger and faster and become the ultimate versions of ourselves. And as you've
There's
seen,
no room for friendship.
friendship is there, obviously, but you need to be able to make friends on the fly. You need to be able to make friends with
On
on the fucking fly, dude.
Yeah.
You'll be making friends with people that are in your class because everybody will have the same kind of mentality. Everybody will be trying to achieve success. There's not going to be any cheating because there is no grades. You know, it's just your score. You know? And again, like, everyone's going to do bad. Like, almost everybody's going to fail every single exam. But then you talk about why they failed, you know, for like a couple of weeks, you know, after the exam, like straight. It's not just going to be like that one day of reviewing the exam for an hour, you know, where you're just like, okay, this is the right answer, this is the right answer, this is the right answer, these are the wrong answers. Anybody got any questions? It's going to be like, all right, guys, 95% of you got this question wrong, all right? And this is why. And I see 75% of you got this question wrong, and this is why. You know, you're going to explain every single detail. And it's going to be very rigorous. And it's going to be awesome because it's not going to be like, you know, you have, you know, it's going to be so rigorous because you're spending all day learning that. You don't just switch from geometry to English for an hour at a time. You know, you're spending 8 hours a day learning science. You're spending 8 hours a day learning architecture. You know, 8 hours a day learning teaching skills. So
It's tough.
like there's gonna be no bullshit. You know, and everybody's gonna want to be there because, like I said, I can't say it enough. Like everybody's gonna want to be there because they're excited to learn, because they've been taught to be
Good.
excited to learn from an early age,
Good.
because they noticed when they were young, when they learned, they could get really good. Like they got really good at music, they got really good at dancing, they got really good at painting, sculpture, you know, whatever. They got really good at it, and not like first graders or whatever, like who think that they got good at math because they know for a few fucking arithmetic problems. Like you don't know shit. But like, who's to judge? Who's to put a grade on a person's dance? You know? And when they start feeling like they're knowing the steps and they're doing it correctly, that's amazing. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's their unique twist, right? But yeah, like fuck the grading scale. I'm all about putting a number on the exam. That's fine. Let them know that they got a 35 out of 100 and the average was like a 25 out of 100, and if that makes you feel good, sure, whatever. But almost nobody's going to be doing the former C work. It's going to be tough. It's going to be rigorous. It's going to be intense. And they're going to love it because they're going to know they're going to learning at a fast pace. They're not wasting their fucking precious years of life learning about something they couldn't give two shits about, where they're just like, why? I'm never going to use this in my life, I'm never going to need this in my life. Like, I don't care about this shit. I don't need this shit. I hate doing this. I hate my life. Like, they're going to be doing shit they care about, that they like, that they enjoy. And depending on how the system works, we can literally make it so that it's only like 5-6 hours a day instead of like 8 or 9. And then they have most of the day to run around and be a kid. With all the humongous amount of social clubs that'll be out there. Hell, people will fucking just go to school all day because they can. There'll be classes going on throughout the entire day, from morning to night. People want to stay and learn, advanced this and, sociology later on in the day when they're in the science department. Like, nobody's going to stop them. And it'll all be so much cheaper. Oh my goodness, it'll be so much cheaper. So yeah, I mean, that's what I've realized is the best way to get people to learn. You gotta teach kids to fail as much as possible. You gotta teach kids to want to learn and to crave learning. And you've gotta teach things that they care about, that they see applicable in their life. There's no point teaching a future cosmetologist fucking geometry. There's no point. There's no point teaching a future preschool teacher fucking the history of France. Like, no point. Like, it's just we get taught so much knowledge, but it's also useless. It's just useless knowledge.
Right, there's a lot of things that we don't need necessarily for our
One
life.
sec. Yeah. It's just, there's no point, man. We've spent, like, these kids are stuck in school till 12th grade. And then almost that entire time, they don't want to be there. Like, it's no question if kids don't want to go to school. Kids don't want to go to school since the beginning of time. And why is that? It's because learning fucking sucks in that kind of environment, with grades and pressure and all this crap. Like, we'll completely get rid of college altogether. There will be no more college. It'll be just a continuation of what I'm already saying. Like, if you really care about the science and you've been in fucking English for till your 10th grade, then start catching up fast. Like, really start catching up, because you're way behind at that point. Like, and it's not too late. It's never too late because there's no age that people will graduate from. You never graduate from this kind of school. Like, you can keep learning for your whole life. You can never leave if you want to. You can just stay there till like you're, forever because you like to learn. And you like to learn all kinds of things, and you can do it.
And you do have an interesting perspective because of your experience with education.
Yeah, I did it for like, what, 20 years, right?
Very interesting perspective. Just how you've done it, but then you've not done it. You've done it a little bit. You've done it a lot. You've done it not at all.
Well, from an early age, I realized that I hate this shit. I think it's so stupid. I think I was in first
From an
grade.
early age.
I think I was in first grade or second grade, maybe second grade actually, when I realized that this is all a stupid joke. That like this is a joke and a half. And I don't care to be part of it because it's again like I was always so anti-grading scale. Like it's just like this is the worst way to teach people by telling them they fail at exam. Like, okay, you failed. Is that bad? And you're taught, yes, that's bad. You failed. You should have done better. You should have done better. You should have studied harder. Da 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 da. Da. But it's like, but I don't like this subject. This subject's boring as shit. I don't give a fuck about it. It's like, well, that doesn't matter because you need to do this subject to pass. It's like, okay, I need to pass what? It's like, oh, you need to pass the class so you can move up. It's like, well, what if I don't give a shit about moving up? It's like, well, you have to move up because you need to go into high school and then go into college. And it's like, okay.
But I want to stay in first grade forever.
But I don't care about this subject. I don't care about learning these things that they're teaching me and that they're going to continue to teach me. I'd rather be doing almost anything else.
You should definitely be able to pick your courses more in your path, career path.
And so from an early age, it's like I don't care about the shit they're teaching.
Science.
I'm going to be learning
what kind of science?
I'm wasting my life. I'm wasting my youth, my most energetic years that I could be learning at a lightning pace. You understand? Like I could be learning at a lightning pace. I was not an idiot in school. I think I was the fucking smartest kid in my class for like almost the entire time I went to underclass or whatever. Up until high school, I really felt like I was the smartest kid. Not because I had the best grades, but because I knew I saw through all the bullshit. I didn't care to be part of the system. I didn't care to, appease my teachers or appease my parents. Or, I didn't have any fear of not going to a good college. I didn't care about any of that. And, okay, maybe somebody in a poorer situation who didn't have the benefits I had, who knew that college was a way to get the benefits I had, would care. I totally get that. I totally understand that. But I didn't because I didn't have that problem. And so without the need for a better life, when I already had food and shelter and friends and all that shit, I saw no need to spend years and years of my life learning things that not only I would never use, but I never gave a shit about. And here I am being graded on something I don't care. That's the stupidest thing ever. 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 It doesn't get dumber than that. Like, you don't fucking judge a fucking goldfish on its ability to climb trees. But here we are doing that very same thing. Little girl, only cares about makeup and fucking, looking pretty and, making other people look pretty, for example. Doing hairstyles and stuff. And here we are telling her she's a failure because she can't do calculus. Like, how stupid is that? Like, she's never going to care about doing that. She shouldn't be graded on doing that, but we're grading her, and it's going to hold her back, right? And we're going to put all the pressure of, the future, and her friends are doing better, and her parents are disappointed in her on top of her. So now she can't even focus on anything that she wants to actually do. Like, pathetic. Pathetic. It's terrible. It's so horrible. And it's so archaic. And like I said, you teach kids not that failing is bad. That's the worst thing you could do. Because failing is the most important thing. Failing is how you get better. Failing...
You learn from mistakes. That's definitely true.
You have to fail. Like, you go start a business and it fails, and then you give up. You're like, no. Like, like the guy who started KFC, tried to sell his recipe to over 1,000 different companies before one bought it. You know,
That's crazy, yeah.
literally over 1,000 different companies turned the KFC guy down before somebody finally did it. And
Apparently, Starbucks got rejected by like 100 banks.
exactly, but the thing is, they didn't give up because they failed. But you're teaching all these kids that failure's bad. You're teaching them that when you fail, it's because you're not good. You know that you need to do better. And it's like, no, you fail because you don't care. You didn't necessarily not put in the work. You just didn't put the correct work in because you don't care enough to do it. Now, if you cared enough to do it and you
You don't
failed,
give a shit.
then that's one thing. If you're actually putting in work and you fail, why is that going to hold you back? How can you hold somebody back for failing when they're trying their best? Like, you're literally discouraging them from trying their best because here I am, I tried my best, I failed. You know, why should I keep trying my best? I'm a failure now. I'm bad, I suck. I don't do good enough even though I did the best I could. Like
We
that,
don't call it failure. We shouldn't call it failure.
well, that's what they call it. They literally put
I
an F
know.
on your test and they say you failed. And they,
I love education. I love education, but the education system needs a little bit of
it needs an overhaul.
revamping. It needs an overhaul. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we shouldn't, we should make failure the standard. Everybody should fail. And we should teach them that that's good. You should
We don't
fail.
call it fail. We just say everyone should make mistakes. You should make mistakes.
Exactly.
We
You
don't
should
even
make
call it
lots of
fail.
mistakes because the more
How
mistakes you
many mistakes
make,
did you make? It? You made a lot of
exactly.
mistakes, which means you got a lot of room to learn.
Yeah, you got a lot of room to
You got a
learn.
lot of room to
Keep
learn, a
doing your
lot of room for
best
improvement.
because
This is
the
good.
more the harder you work, the less mistakes you're gonna make. You know, and we're not gonna hold you back because you're making mistakes. The only reason we'd hold you back is because you didn't try. But if you're trying,
Right, we need you to
then
try.
keep going.
But for those very few people that go into the Wally type situation that just want to sit on their chairs all day and not do anything,
Wait,
you're
but
saying send them all to boot camp.
send them to boot camp so that they can learn, why they should try. They should understand that the reason you try is because if you don't, this is how wars happen. This is how anarchy happens. This is how people die. It's because people don't try. You know. And right now, the only people who are paying the price for people not trying is the entire planet, the environment, the ecosystems, the animals. They are all dying in humongous numbers because people are too lazy to do anything with their lives. That's the end of the story. That's what it is. It's not because of the government or the rich or, fucking XYZ. It's because there's too many people doing nothing. They eat animals all day. They do nothing with their lives. They throw plastic around. They throw trash around. They pollute the environment, and that's all they're doing is destroying the planet. Now, if they were,
Yeah, we don't want that.
yeah, so if people try, then they understand that, there's a reason that we're here. We need to do things. We need to do big things. We need to make the planet a great place. That's why we all got to try. We're going to be miserable if we don't, and that's the end of the story. Maybe not even necessarily send them to boot camp. Send them to places that are experiencing the suffering of what happens. Send them to the fucking the industrial meat places. Send them to places where cows are getting killed constantly. Send them to the fucking
No,
rainforest burning
I'm
down.
saying, I'm thinking way further ahead. I'm thinking hundreds of years from now when we're all out in outer space, like traveling the solar system, traveling around, and we're just living life in outer space. I'm talking about that lifetime.
I'm talking
But
about like
here on
something that could actually be done in the next 50 years.
here, got it, yeah.
In the next 50 years, if we follow the system I'm talking about, then we change the world. And the kids learn to do great things. If we keep teaching them the same old shit, we get the same old results, which is pollution, mass murder in the form of the animals
Yeah.
instead of people. Like, it's amazing.
Marginalization,
You know,
of work.
like we treat animals like products. Like the way that we treat cows and chickens and pigs and everything. It's unbelievably horrible. It's nightmarish.
Not good.
It's beyond nightmarish. And how is that allowed to exist? Well, it's allowed to exist because the government says it's okay. Why does the government say it's okay? It's because the people say it's okay. And why does the people say it's okay? They say it's okay because the government says it's okay. And because they don't know any better. They don't know any better because they haven't been taught. And to me, the suffering of so many billions and billions of animals in the form of the rainforest, the coral reefs, the livestock, is completely ignored. It's completely ignored. Ignored, bro. It's ignored. Nobody talks about it. Nobody mentions it. It's just a necessary evil for modern society, which, as I said, is disgustingly terrible. People are depressed. People are anxious. People hate their lives. 90% of people are not happy, and they shouldn't be because they're all eating animals that were dying, terrified and scared and sad their whole lives. So of course they're gonna feel like shit because they're eating shit. Shit that they raised from babies, kept them in fucking horrible conditions, and now you're eating that. And of course you're gonna feel like shit because you ate pure shit. And it's ignored. It's completely ignored. It's completely 100% ignored. They're the fucking millions and billions of animals are completely, their suffering is ignored 100% because society has deemed it the necessary thing to continue on. But as long as that is happening, as long as they're the victim and not humans, it's okay. As long as they're the victim, we don't bat an eyelash because it's not people, right? Or at least it's not even people. It's not American people. People in third world countries, second world countries, they're feeling the same kind of pain. You go to all these places in Africa, and all these places in South America, all these places in Asia, they're being persecuted. They're being raped, they're being murdered on a ridiculous scale. And why is that? Because again, there's not enough education. It all goes back to education. If people know what the problems of the world are, they want to fix it. You show kids the problems of the world, all they talk about are solutions. And all they want to do is help it. Until they reach a certain age where they're so disillusioned and so disgusted with life and the education system and the state of their lives because they've been forced to do things they don't want their whole lives, that they just say, fuck everybody because I've been fucked by everybody my whole life. And it's got to end at some point.
Well, man. Lots of changes are happening around the world. In my life, are changes happening in your life? A lot of things changing. I feel like. What do you think about that?
One quote that I've been thinking about recently a lot that I didn't really understand until last night, actually. I've been thinking about it for the last few days, but it really hit me last night, this quote. And it says, live like your father is dead. And
Ooh.
And to me, and this was by Marcus Aurelius, that one of the greatest leaders of all time. He led Rome for like 50 years into like its greatest period. And to me, that quote always kind of meant to me like, don't let your father's, sayings keep you down. Like, don't always try to live to impress your father, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to, make your dad proud, but you should make yourself proud type of thing, right? Like if your dad says, you shouldn't dance and you shouldn't sing, and you want to dance and sing, then that's what you should do. You shouldn't care what he says.
Right.
But last night it really hit me that that saying, that quote goes deeper than that. What he's really saying, truly, is that you must live your life like your father does not even exist at all. Like, he doesn't exist. So if he was gone today, like if he died today, what the fuck would you do? What would you do?
I'd be very sad.
Okay, yes, besides that, what would you do with your life? And for me, it was like, my God, like, I don't know
Wouldn't
what I'd
change
do.
anything.
I don't know what I'd do. It would change everything because now, the pension's gone. And,
Oh yeah, you'd be in big trouble.
right,
You're not used to being on your own.
right. So, like, literally, I would literally be, like, completely on my own right then and there. Boom.
Yeah, I'd
Like,
be fine. I mean, I'd be completely fine. I've been doing it for years now.
right. But for
I'd be
me,
sad though. I'd be very sad.
right, obviously, your family, your mom and your brothers and sisters, they would be kind of screwed, right? Because all that that dependent thing that they had with him, whatever they needed him for, is gone now. Like your brother, for God's sake, using him to fix the bathroom or whatever, like.
To make a new no, make a new bathroom.
Right, make a new
You'd have to
bathroom. So
pay
yeah,
someone.
like, uh,
You'd have to pay someone
how
to do
many
it.
how many how many kids use their dads to like fix their cars when they're not working anymore?
Oh yeah.
So it's like for me, it was just like, yeah, like my God, like if he doesn't exist, like what the hell? I gotta bust my dick off to survive. All of a
Mhm.
sudden, like I'm not
Mhm.
in cozy la la land anymore. So that really kind of hit me last night. And he's got a lot of incredible things that guy said. But man, like, so yeah, like I'm just like, I have to live like if he were to die like today. Like if he were to die today, what would I do? And
Yep. I like it.
I need to live like he's gone, so I have to save my money, right? I have to be very frugal in my spending. I can't waste any time at all doing anything that's not productive, right? So, and that kind of like clears up a lot of questions and things that I've had going on. Like, I've got all these great things happening, but at the end of the day, like, I need to be ready for that day. You know what I mean? I have to be prepared financially and in my own head. Like, when he's gone, like, I have to be ready, like, on the spot to carry on, to continue to go to school, to keep making money, to do all these things. So, so yeah, I mean, as far as my life changing, like it's changing, man. Like, and for this last 50 days, because it's now been like 50 days since I've been sober, right? Like, which is one of my milestones, by the way. Remember, I did start snigging on the 50th day mark one time.
No, I don't. I just remember the only one I ever think about is 4 months because that's the
The
longest.
120, yeah, but the 50 was another one
120.
time.
Okay. Okay.
And so I really have to just make sure that I'm on point, that I'm continuing to do it. Because, like, for the last 50 days, I basically have given myself a pass on being a jerk off because it's like, at least I'm sober. I can get 50 massages a day. I can eat out all the time. I can play video games. I can, do almost nothing. And that's okay because at least I'm not sneaking. But now, for this
Right.
last week, it's been like, all right. I've been not snigging, which is great, but it's time to start, kicking it up a notch. And so that's when I started studying again. I've been studying real good recently, and I know that I got an A on that exam, and I've been sleeping better. I'm getting to bed earlier. Like, I'm actually going to bed at midnight now. Like I told you, remember I said my bedtime was midnight?
Right.
So I've been sticking to that. Sometimes I don't get there till 12:30, but that's good enough for me right now. And so yeah, like 12:30 has been my bedtime. I'm not even that sleepy. I'm going to bed and I'm not that sleepy, but it doesn't matter because I know eventually I will sleep, right? And eventually I'll get used to it. And I even saw a psychology report that came out yesterday that said that in a study of a bunch of medical students, they found that those that didn't sleep at the same time every night were way more deficient in everything than those that did. Like
Mhm.
there is an incredible body of research that explains to me what my guru has said from day one, that you have got to do things on a cycle. You have to eat at the same time every day. You have to sleep at the same time every day. You have to work out at the same time every day. You have to do things on a cycle.
Routines.
Routine, right?
Routine, yeah.
You have to stick to it. And he says the only reason that people are not happy, for the most part, is that they're constantly changing their mind about things. They say they're going to stick to one thing and do it and be hardcore about it, and then they don't. They just don't. Like, they say they're going to go to the gym 3 times a week, and then they don't. They say they're going to sleep at midnight every day, and then they don't. I'm using myself as
I have to get my gym on point, dude. I gotta have my schedule. I think I'm gonna start with like maybe twice a week.
Indecision,
I don't know though.
indecisiveness makes you a torture to yourself and everyone around you, right?
That's right. That's right.
So you
I need to have my schedule, man.
You have
Is it once or twice a week? That's all I can do right now,
right,
dude. What
right,
should I do?
right. Whatever you do.
What should I do?
For the first 2 weeks, I don't care. I really don't. I just want you to be doing something. I don't want you to be playing video games at 2 in the afternoon. Like I can't.
All right, then.
I can't get behind that.
No, I understand. I understand.
Like
I gotta get in that gym.
at this point in our life, every day counts. You know, Dan Pena was working 15 hours a day at this point in his life when he was our age. When he was our age, he was putting in 120-hour work weeks every single day. 100 fucking
God, it's
20.
amazing to think about that people do that, and then like 99.9% of the whole world doesn't.
But if you actually want to be wildly successful, that's what you do. Like,
that's what you do.
My guru said it best: if you work incessantly every day of your entire life, then something may come out of it.
And if you, yeah, but something might not.
Incessantly,
yeah, I don't
dude.
know.
What is the definition of incessant? Incessant.
Without cease. Without cease.
Without cease, there is no end. You are constantly on it.
Because
I don't why?
Like that. I'm not down with that. I'm not down with that.
But we don't have time. We don't have time. You don't have time to do 50 things in your life. You can pick 1, maybe 2 if you're lucky. But we only have time to really become legends. Like, what was that period I told you? You need like 40,000 hours to become a legend at something?
Something ridiculous.
Yeah, that's like 30, 40 years, bro. If you're working like 8 hours a day every day. But that's like if you've started since like 20 years old, right? So how on earth are you going to make a big difference in anything if you don't work incessantly every single day? You already are out of time. You're already going to be ancient by the time it's done. If you started today at 8 hours a day.
Right, and that's the thing. Like Elon even says himself, he doesn't recommend that anybody works as much as him.
Right. Yeah, but Elon, he took it up another notch, right? That's why he's the richest man in the world right now, because he was working like 20 hours a day. What's 20 times 7? That's 140. So yeah, don't work 140 hours a week, dude.
You know how much he sleeps now?
6 to 7 hours.
Yep.
So yeah, but he was working 140-hour weeks, bro. He was sleeping.
You know what he said, dude?
What?
You know what he said on Joe? So I was listening to Joe Rogan. This was his response, like when Joe asked him, how much he sleeps. He said, 6 to 7. I think he said roughly 6. Said, wow, like that seems like a lot of sleep for someone who works so much. And Elon said, yeah, well, I found that if
I work less than that, my performance seriously decreases.
It's unproductive.
It's unproductive.
And I wonder if anybody mentioned that to him in a long analysis recently, because he's been quoted saying many times in other interviews, like it's all about working, as hard as you can, 24 hours a day, nonstop. But he seems to be backpedaling a little bit on that stance. Backpedaling to reality.
Well, I would say
maybe it's not efficient to work and only get a couple hours of sleep every night. That is not conducive to anybody except maybe your guru.
Exactly.
And,
because guess what?
100 other people on the planet.
Right. Well, and there's a way to become.
But to the other 8 billion.
There's a way.
It's not conducive.
There is a path to doing that, and it just requires performance and dedication, right? Like it requires the perfect diet.
But is it a path that anyone?
Right, anyone.
The path that most people will take.
No, absolutely not. But anybody can. But anybody can. Literally anyone.
It's possible, yes. But the odds of it, my point. The odds is 99%.
Bro,
not a fucking chance.
The thing is, you've never in your life had a great diet, plus great sleep, plus great exercise, plus being stress-free, right? You've never
I
been
know,
there.
and even if I did,
And if you
I don't think it
did,
would be
you
like,
would. You would. You have no idea. You have no idea what
yeah.
it is. You have no idea what it's like to eat living food all day long. Like, he doesn't eat anything
Well,
that's not super fresh. He won't
I
eat.
know, but
He won't eat.
you say it as if you know what it is either. You have no clue either.
Bro, when
Neither of us have any
I
idea.
I have experienced times though, whenever I've improved my diet or I've improved my sleep or I've started meditating more, I see huge changes quickly. So
That's
I
good.
cannot fathom what it would be like to do all of them at the same time. And you understand as well that I've been
Oh,
schnigging this whole time. So
oh, I
to
understand.
be free of schnigging, to be eating a great
I
diet and
understand.
sleep and all this shit, like I do, I'm telling you, 2 or 3 hours is easy. It's easy. It's
Oh,
easy.
I can't wait to see it,
Look
man.
at
I can't
Elon.
wait to see
The
it.
dude's diet's terrible. You know, he's fat as shit. You know? He's got so much
He's
stress.
not fat as shit. He's okay.
He's
He's got a
fat
lot
as
of stress.
shit, in my opinion. He's stressed out of his mind, obviously. Like, he tells people that they don't want to be him, you know? I, he says, you don't want to be me. He said that so many times. Like, he has so many issues. He doesn't stop thinking. Like I said, he's like I was telling you, how people who don't stop thinking, it's like constant diarrhea of the mind. Like, it's an awful way to live. And yes, he has brilliant thoughts. You have to be able to turn that off every now and then. And if you can't, you're gonna become you're a train wreck. You're a train crashing off the rails. You know. So, but hey, give me 1 minute here. I need to do one thing real quick. Hold on.
Chill. Turtle never lacks his confidence, you guys. Just need more action. Oh no, are these acid rounds or? They're not the right ones. Well, are they needed explosive? Yeah, they're doing okay. I feel like the fire is the best.
Jill, is that you? Carlos?
I think he runs away right now.
Watch it, you've got company. He's hiding behind take aim. Now, rip that fucker apart.
Ew, Nemesis. Ew. Don't make me do it. I dodged that. Come on.
Here comes some more.
Damn it. I'm a little too fast.
Got some more incoming. Number 3. He's hiding behind tank 3.
Close one.
Here comes some more.
Damn it.
Number 6.
Yo.
No! Yo.
Speed turtle to slow turtle. Come in slow turtle.
I don't know. I don't think he's coming in. Well, hopefully he's...
You said I should play more Halo? Alright. It's fine.
I hope Slow Turtle doesn't answer the phone almost ever again. I'm a bitch.
But yeah, man, I can't say it enough. Like, I might have been schnigging for a long time, but I can promise you, bro, with all my heart, that almost every single night of like this entire time that I've been schnigging, almost literally, like I'd say 99% of the nights, literally 99. I wasn't hanging out with people, obviously, and sometimes even if I was, every night, bro, I would I would have a whiteboard out, or I'd have a schedule thing out, or I'd have a notepad out, and I would just be like, what do I need to do to get this shit fixed? Like, even no matter how schnigged up I would get, and sometimes I would schnig just so I could get really excited for, these plans. Making schedules, making routines, making things. I did that.
You get super excited, you get me excited, you get everyone excited.
Right, so I would get super excited, I got all jazzed up for these very intense things, and of course I wouldn't follow through on them, and obviously that created a lot of, angst and sadness, torture, right, but over the years I have learned a lot of things about how that works and how that fails, and when I started really paying attention to Elon and Pena and all these other the greats of our times, the Tom Brady's and stuff, like it's very obvious what's going on. Like, these guys are tunnel vision, right? Like,
they're what?
They're tunnel vision. They have tunnel vision. They see the prize on the other end, and like a fucking donkey with a carrot in front of it, they don't stop until they get there. Obviously the donkey never gets to the carrot because it's attached to his head. You know what I'm talking about.
Right, carrot on
a stick.
Carrot on the end of the string. Yeah,
right. So
dangling from the string.
So yeah, it's like they're single focused, they're single minded, they are 100% driven to be there, to get that done. And they will not stop until it is done. And they so they don't stop ever, right? They just don't stop. They go and they go and they go and they go and they go. You know,
Like the Energizer Bunny.
like the Energizer Bunny. But for literally almost everybody, because of the stupidity of the education system, the patheticness of their friends and family, you know, their distractions with girlfriend and their little dramas in their head, they don't have tunnel vision. They have, you know, and some of them have better excuses than others, like, you know, a sick parent, you know, or, you know, a lot of self-disbelief from years of parents and people telling them they suck. There's lots of excuses, right? But at a certain point, everybody has to have that coming to Jesus moment where it's like, you don't really have any excuses anymore. You're 25 years old, you're 30 years old, you're 35 years old. Like, it's past time to get the ball rolling. And, you know, so for people like all the greats, like you hear, like, I love how Dan Pena always talks about how, like, yeah, you know, when I was young, I was a bad kid. I was bad in school. I got expelled 4 times. I was kicking people's butts, you know, because I was an asshole. And, you know, I did not have it figured out as a kid. And then I went to military school, and I figured it out. I love how he's just like, that was the first high performance thing I ever did, was go to military school. Because, yeah, military school is no fucking shit. Like, people die in military school, you know? So, it's just like at some point you have to decide, you know, this is my life. This is what I'm going to do. I don't live forever. I have very little time to get what I want done, especially if you come to this decision later in life, like after you're 20 years old. It's like you don't really have time anymore to dick around. You are out of time.
No.
You are out of time to dick around.
Yep.
You have got to.
So I figured out what I'm doing. I'm done. Yep.
So you put your nose to the grindstone and you never let it off. Oh my God! I saw a guy do something I've never done before. So, you know, for me, it was always just like, all right, I couldn't decide. I could not decide. Like, I have to spend every waking hour working on this goal, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what I want to dedicate my whole self to. It was that fucking, as Jordan Peterson calls it, one of my favorite psychologists, who you really should fall in love with too once you find him.
Oh, I already know.
Yeah, so Jordan Peterson always talks about Peter Pan syndrome, where you've got all this potential as a kid and you don't know what sacrifice you want to pick. You don't know where, you know, because you have to sacrifice all your potential, the ability to choose to do anything you want in life, and you have to pick one. You can only pick one. And so many kids...
Opportunity cost, man. Everything you don't pick is lost.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't pick one, then you become the jack of all trades guy. But that guy is a jack of all trades and a master of none, right? Like,
Right.
he never becomes that amazing at anything, so he never makes any significant contributions, so he never does really anything with his life. Like, you have to become a master. You know, like, back in the old days, you would have a master that you learned under, and, you know, you would be his student until the day he died, usually. And you could be 30, 40, 50 years old when that happened, but now you're the master. You know, so, like, I remember the sushi documentary that got Joe excited about sushi a long time ago, which actually inspired him to cook as a living. Like, he talked a lot about, he had a son who was 55 years old, but his son was like his sous chef, which is like the second in command. At the world's greatest sushi restaurant in the world, his son at 55 is still not as good as him. You know, he's like 85, right? And you know,
Right.
that 30 years of extra of experience is the difference between the master and his 55-year-old son. And people talked about like, oh yeah, you know, he should let his son run the restaurant, but if he did, they'd have to probably cut the prices in half.
Ooh. Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
Burn. Ouch. I know that's a burn.
You know, but it's not any slight to his son though, because his son has been studying with him his whole life since he was 16 years old. 40 years of his life, he has been his second in command at the sushi place. Not second in command the whole time, obviously, but he was working with him for 40 years. 40 years of his life, he has been working sushi, and yet his father is like the greatest in the world, and so for him to take over the restaurant, he would have to cut the prices in half.
Man.
So, but this guy, his father is no normal guy, dude. Like, you want to talk about the master of consistency? Like the guy, you want to talk about routine? The guy never missed work ever. Like he would go to work. He would skip people's funerals for work. He skipped his own father's funeral so that he didn't miss work. He I mean he rides on the same seat on the train to his work every single day. He goes through the same turnstile at the metro every single day. You know, he literally does like the exact same thing almost every single day. And because of his consistency and his dedication, he is the greatest in the world. And there's nobody that comes close. There's nobody on the planet that comes close. He charges like 3 times as much as like the next guy charges, and his restaurants are booked for like 6 months in advance.
Jesus.
And I'm telling you, like, there's no comparison between him and anyone else. So, like, I love like the name of the documentary is called Jiro Dreams of Sushi, because Jiro, the guy, he literally like, talked about how when he was, you know, even today, like throughout his entire life, like multiple times, he will just dream about making sushi and think of new combinations of things in his sleep, and then he'll try them out during when he's working. But like the man's obsessed. He is 100% obsessed with his craft and his job. In Japan, there's a word actually for somebody who is 100% dedicated to their job and like does the same thing every day. I think it's called Sokudin. And a Shokudin is basically, like I said, somebody who is 100% tunnel vision for their work to the point where, you know, it just seems crazy, like to most people, because, you know, they do nothing but that. So, but you see what all the greats do. You see Dan Pena does, what Elon Musk does, you know, what Tom Brady does. Like, they do nothing but their job. They stick to their mission, and that's the end of the day. That's it. That's what they do.
And the one thing they all have in common is they love it, dude. They love it.
Oh yeah, right? They fucking love
They
it.
love it.
They love what they do. You know, even Dan
You have to
Pena.
love it.
Yeah, Dan Pena says it very clearly. Like, you have to love what you're doing to do this. Like, if you can't love this, like, you're gonna have a very painful time. You know, when you're starting a business, you need to love your product. You have to be in love with your product. You have to want the whole world to have this product, type of thing. You know, like that.
Yes, sir.
The guy who founded Walmart had the same kind of passion. And one of his things was that, you know, like he says that you must never leave work when your desk has work to be done.
I love that. The sundown rule.
The sundown rule, right? Like, my God, like, the dude would never leave his office until his work was done every time. You know, like, it's not like it's always fun. Most of the time it's not that fun, but it's that tunnel vision, that dedication, that knowing that the light on the other end is worth how much work you got to put in, that keeps these guys going. You know, Tom Brady, for God's sake, he's 43 years old and he just won another Super Bowl on a brand new team. Like that's just completely
That's
unheard of.
incredible.
He is only the second
Incredible.
He's only the second quarterback in the NFL to ever win a Super Bowl on 2 different teams. You hear what I'm saying?
He's the only quarterback. He's the only quarterback to win on 2 different teams.
He's one of 2 guys. Him and someone else are the
Yeah.
only people to ever win a Super Bowl on 2 different teams.
And who's the other guy?
I don't know. I'm not gonna slight that guy, but I don't know.
Yeah, that guy was incredible.
Yeah, but nobody has 7 Super Bowl rings. Only Tom Brady.
Oh. Only the Brady. Huh?
In fact, only
Brady bunch.
only 3 guys besides Tom Brady have 5 Super Bowl rings. Can you believe that? 3 people in the NFL in all time only have 5 Super Bowl rings.
Is that as Troy Aikman one?
What's that?
Is Troy Aikman one of them?
I believe no, he's not.
Oh,
He's like 3, I think.
nice.
It's kind of these like random players that kind of ended up being on those teams type of thing.
Interesting.
They did not lead their team, right? They were not the people who led their team to where they were.
No.
Tom Brady's the fucking quarterback. The team lives or dies by the quarterback's play, right? I mean, people are saying he's a greater player of all time than Michael Jordan now.
That right.
And I agree with them. I think it's still pretty close, but I would now argue that Tom Brady is the greatest athlete player of all time, bar none, the greatest.
I'd say him and Michael are like top 2.
Right, and I'd say Michael
own
Jordan's
ways.
right number 2, right there with him, because when it came to championship games, Michael Jordan played the best of anybody. Like when it came to the championship, you know, nobody turned it on like Michael Jordan did.
Michael Jordan.
So, like Michael Jordan would will his team to win the finals every time. But yeah, I mean, and you know, you talk about the greatest quarterback ever, even. Like there's no comparison anymore between Tom Brady and anybody else.
Oh, quarterback wise, yeah, he's just so good.
Like people used to talk about Peyton Manning, right? Peyton Manning won 1 Super Bowl.
Really?
He won 1 Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers has won 1 Super Bowl. Oh yeah, he was good, but he never. But in the playoffs, Peyton Manning.
How many did McNabb get? Any?
He won 1 as well.
1, and how about Michael Vick?
He didn't win any.
None.
Wow.
He was on the Falcons, right?
Falcons and Eagles, yeah.
Oh, Vic. Alright, so I don't have any more gunpowder. That's done.
It's just so rare to win 1 Super Bowl, bro. It's incredibly rare to win 2 Super Bowls. 3 is unheard of. Nobody ever wins 3. It's been done by like less than a handful of people of all time. Like a handful of people have done that. 4 is when people started saying Tom Brady was the greatest of all time. And then he got a 5th. And then he got a 6th. And now he got a 7th.
Super Bowls?
7.
No.
He's been 7. He's been to 10. He's been to 10.
Yeah, he's the best, man. He's the best. I don't know what you want. What do you want from me?
How hard is it to get to a Super Bowl? It's hard as fuck. It's hard as fuck.
Dude is the greatest, man.
That's what I'm saying. He's been to 10 Super Bowls. He's won 7 of them. And it's not like he's being carried by somebody. He's the one who does the carrying.
Yeah, his backpack is open.
And at 43, he won 1. He won at 43 years old. You know, one player today said that Tom Brady could play for another 5 years.
Oh?
One of his teammates said that. He said he can see Tom Brady playing for 5 more years.
What is he, 43?
Yeah, he's 43.
I could see 2 more years. I could see 2 more years to 45. And then he might push it to 46, but if he does, I don't think that'll go well.
Dude, nobody plays into their 40s in the NFL. You understand? Like, nobody does that. Like, literally.
Mostly they're in their 20s and 30s, right?
No, mostly 20s. I'd say like 95% 20s.
I need statistics. I need to know exactly how many people in their 30s are in the Super Bowl. What percent?
It's done. Give me the vaccine, you greedy son of a bitch.
No. You bring money. I like money. We shall make ours an ongoing arrangement. Now drop the gun.
Well, here's one stat you should understand, bro. The average NFL career for every position is 2.5 years.
Oh?
Let me say it again. The average career from an NFL player is 2.5 years.
Well.
Have you ever seen anything so incredible?
There are no words really to explain how great Tom Brady is, man. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he has played forever. Like, he's playing with guys on his team, bro, that were not even born when he was playing.
Oh my God.
People were not even born yet, and he's playing with them.
What about you?
They've literally watched Tom Brady since the day they were 5 years old, since the day they were 1 year old.
You know?
Seen him on the TV at 1 year old, and now they're playing with him. So yeah, the average career is 2.5 years. The average age is 26 years old. Understand that that means that they're basically saying between 22 and 29 years old are these players, right? Like, most of the players come in around 23, 24. They play for their 2.5 years till they're 26, and then they're out. So again, man, I can't find the stat. I just tried to, but I would hazard to say
You're
that.
just saying it's a rarity. It's like 99% of the players are under 40 is what you're saying.
I'm saying that 90 to 95% of the players are under 30.
And 99 are under 40.
Obviously, yes. There's nobody that plays in their 40. You get like 1 or 2 guys a year that play past 40, and guess what? Those are either quarterbacks or kickers. All right? You never find a linebacker playing at 40. That doesn't happen. You don't find safeties, cornerbacks, wide receivers. Nobody plays at 40 years old. Okay? You have to be explosive to be an NFL player. You have to have incredible burst plus incredible strength. And eventually your burst will go away as you age. And so for NFL players, they're going to be outbursted by young 20-year-olds more than not when they're starting to get into their late 20s. So to play into their 30s, I mean, it just doesn't happen because you have to be like a serious name to play into your 30s and be a starter on a team. Like, you have to be a guy, you know? And usually, even if you do play in your 30s, you're not playing so much because of your playing skill, but you're more like a coach on the field kind of guy. Like, you're like a guy who they can count on to play the position and not do something really stupid. You know, you're a guy that's going to mentor the young ones, type of thing. You know, like Ray Lewis, for example, like, he played until he was like 37, right? Which is super rare. Like, linebackers never play into their 30s, but Ray Lewis is one of the greatest of all time, right? So, yeah, he played into his mid-30s. But trust me, like, his last 3 or 4 years, bro, he was not the same Ray Lewis anymore, right? Like, he was not even half the Ray Lewis he used to be. You know? So, yeah, every position, by the time you hit that 30 wall, you're done. And Tom Brady's out here leading his team to a Super Bowl at 43 years old. There are no
guy.
words. There are no words for me. I think what Michael Jordan did was incredibly impressive. I'll defend him against anyone, anytime, anywhere, against any NBA player. He's by far the greatest in my opinion. There's no question.
Michael Jordan.
Oh, by far. People talk about LeBron James a lot, right?
Hmm.
But LeBron James didn't exactly play their God among men when he was in the finals. All right? Michael Jordan did. Michael Jordan balled out in the fucking finals. Dude, in one playoff game, Michael Jordan scored like 60 points against one of the greatest defenses that ever existed.
Wow.
Like against Larry Bird and the Celtics in the mid '90s, they were considered one of the greatest defenses, sometimes arguably the greatest defense that ever played. And he put 60 points on them in a playoff game. So
60 points, dude. That's just.
it's a stupid amount, dude. It's a very stupid amount. It's just not. It's not an intelligent amount. It's a very dumb amount of points. So, you know, like there are greats, and then there are super greats, and then there are legends. There are legends, man. And how did Michael Jordan become a legend? How? Like, what did he do different than anybody? Was he really that much better of an athlete? No.
He was coachable.
From an early
Very
age.
coachable.
From an early age, Michael Jordan was working harder than anybody else. You know, he didn't make his freshman basketball team. You know, like he got cut.
Did you know this? Did you know this in high school?
Are you relating that to me? I don't know if I did. I think I might have. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
If
know.
you knew that, then it shouldn't have bothered you at all.
Right. But I'm also not, you know. Anyway,
Oh no.
I'm not gonna say it. But anyways.
Oh no.
Listen, I'm not trying to give an excuse to myself, right? Obviously, there's no excuse for what I did, right? Obviously. But what I'm saying is that, you know, there are people, the only difference that separates the greats from the non-greats, besides a little bit of talent, now obviously a little more talent helps, but talent is not even close to how important work ethic is. There's no comparison between talent and work ethic.
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Exactly, dude. Talent, you know, coasts through the fucking thing on their talent. It's just how it goes. Like it's just so unbelievably rare to find a super talented guy that works really hard. It just doesn't really happen.
Unbelievably rare.
Like LeBron James is a prime example. You know, he is ultimate talent. Like, as far the size, the speed, the strength, the intangibles, it doesn't really get much better than a LeBron James. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. And don't get me wrong, that man has worked about as hard as anybody in the business ever has. But he does not compare to Michael Jordan. There's no comparison.
Michael's the best, huh?
Yeah, I mean, if you give Michael Jordan LeBron James's body, and I mean, Jesus, like, I don't even know. You know, so, you know, all I could say is that it's all about hard work. It's all about hard work. That's how a guy who was 5'3" played in the NBA a long time ago. Not even that long ago, like in the 90s.
Well,
5'3", bro. Or no, I'm sorry, 5'5". 5'5". Let me actually find out.
let me try shotgunning this guy.
All right, 5'3", dude. 5'3",
In
Muggsy
the
Bogues. He
NBA,
played in the NBA in the mid-90s.
how'd he do?
He was pretty good. He played 14 years.
Holy shit!
Yeah. 130
The
pounds.
NBA is
130
not
pounds.
backing down. Cutely. Wow, that sounds amazing.
14 years at 5'3", 130 pounds,
Alright,
bro.
so shotgun is useless, it seems.
He played from 1987 to 2001.
He just stun locks you. Wow, what a wow. I heard rumors about this boss. Oh no. The shoddy is a no-go, I think.
At the time of his debut, he was 16.5 inches shorter than the average player.
My god.
He was 1.5 feet shorter than the average player, bro. And he was also a teammate, dude, of a guy who was 7'7".
7'7". Holy shit.
At the time, they were the shortest and tallest players in the NBA, with a 28-inch difference between them.
Oh, they were the tallest and shortest, so he's the shortest guy in the league, and they had the tallest guy in the league.
Yep.
That's impressive.
Something about measurables. But,
So yeah, the shoddy is not going to be working out, it seems. But
yeah, so, you know, I mean, if a guy who's 5'3" can get in the NBA, bro, like, you know,
go on.
it's, I cannot be bothered to think that almost anybody can do almost anything if they try hard enough.
Can't be bothered?
I cannot be bothered to think that if you actually give a shit, you cannot do it. As I've said, my guru says this all the time. Whatever you do in life, if you actually dedicate yourself to it, there's nothing you can't have. There's nothing in this life that will not be yours if you work for it. And now I think of work in a different light. Now that I've gone through physics a few times, I don't think of work as the way most people think of it, as like trying hard and shit. I think of work in the scientific term, which is putting energy out through a certain amount of space in a given amount of time. But when I say work, I mean, you know, energy over time through a given amount of space. Right? So that's all it takes. Where does your energy go? Where your mind goes. Where does your mind go? Where your energy flows. Where your energy flows is where your mind goes. So it's so important to only think and do and act in positive ways. There's no point doing anything that's not going to bring the best out of you. There's no point doing anything if you're not going to give 100% to it at all times. Why would you ever do anything you won't give 100% to?
Well,